My name is Ford Suze. I'm 36 years old and I'm starting over. My previous adventure was outward, living my dream of discovering India and sharing it with the world. But this new adventure is inward, facing my lifelong struggle with depression and finding renewed purpose. Join me on this new journey of self-discovery and personal reinvention, building a better me. Today I'm going to talk a little bit more about the physical plan that I have, but I just want to reiterate, if the swimming thing, the breath thing is not, what you need right now, just do something, just find some friend who will run with you or jog or walk or something or ride a bike, just get out there. It is helpful to have somebody else too, so that you're not going to just give up. But I think if I could sum up my physical plan, it's breath, balance, and bravery. All three of these things are really needed in surfing. Surfing is kind of a ballet on water, really. You really have to be nimble. You have to be flexible. It's not pure strength. It's a lot of agility. It's a lot of flexibility. The breath, of course, comes in handy too, because if you fall off a wave, well, you got to hold on until you can get back up. Another good metaphor for life. So I'm going to talk a little bit about those three things and how I think they relate not only to physical fitness, but how they also can help metaphorically as you deal with struggles in life. So first, breath. I've been going to Vitality Pro, and they offered a free course at Healthplex here in Panama City. With a lot of this pulmonary focused fitness, you don't have to actually be in the water for it. And Vitality Pro offered this class as a way to provide breathing exercises that could be performed anywhere. A lot of my Indian viewers will be familiar with some of this anyway, innately from yoga, which is very breath focused, and so what Vitality is doing is trying to take the best things it sees everywhere and try to harmonize it in something that's focused on increasing lung capacity, the crossover between cardiovascular, pulmonary, and muscular focus in your workout training.
What we found out is that for a lot of people, the lungs and the cardiovascular system train independently. There is some interplay, but some people can have great cardiovascular and still very, very weak lungs, and vice versa. So there's some independence there. And what we found out a lot with even great athletes, more so, is they've trained their muscles, they've trained their cardiovascular, so they've trained all these things, but they've never trained their lungs. How many people die of bronchitis? How many people die of pneumonia, die of COPD, die of asthma? You count all that up, and when us dumb doctors pronounce somebody dead in the ER, we say they died of heart problems because the heart stopped. But what was the leading cause? Was it something pulmonary that led to the heart stopping? So we feel that pulmonary is actually a lot more important than is given by statistics. First thing we do is start with some nasal breathing. I'll let Coach kind of go over just nasal breathing.
Nasal breathing, essentially, a lot of people when they're exercising and so forth, you usually breathe in and out through your mouth, possibly a combination nose-mouth. We're just going to focus today real simple. This is probably the most difficult thing to do all day. Just breathe in and out only through your nose. Okay, nice, good, long inhale. Out through the nose. Out through your nose.
So y'all stay with Coach right now. I see he breathes, and I want to talk a little bit. Nasal breathing, why is it good for you? Because your sinus infections, your sinuses only aerate. Sinuses are the caves off of the air passage. They only get air, they only get aerated, they only get circulated air when we nasal breathe. So when we mouth breathe, we leave stagnant material in our sinuses, and that's a setup for bacteria to sit there and become sinus infection, upper respiratory infection, et cetera, et cetera. So nasal breathing is one of the most important things you can do for your health, is just to breathe more nasally. There's also some other benefits. It turns on your parasympathetic nervous system, which is your recovery, your relaxation. It gets you to a better stage 3 sleep, blah, blah, blah.
So resistance training, you think about if you're doing weightlifting, the more weight you put on, the more it's going to strain your muscles. Well, with your lungs, you can't put weights on your lungs. So they try to find other ways to test your pulmonary capacity by adding time, by adding more stress, kind of like with this exercise.
I need a full lung, so I'm going to go. We're going to hold it for 10 seconds. And then we're going to go straight back into another set. Why do we do this? Because athletes and people, they hear what we're saying, but they don't train. So we have to train our athletes. What do most athletes do during the play?
Hold the breath.
They hold their breath or they micro breathe.
Yeah, just a little.
So we teach people to breathe, and we have to do this because they always think they can catch up between the plays or after the fast break, and they can't.
So at home, I'm trying to do some modified versions of these a couple days a week. So that's what I've been doing for the breath side of my breath, balance, and bravery trifecta. I will honestly say, having gone back into the school system, dealt with some, how is the word, not rowdy kids, but just difficult to get on task kids. The breathing has been truly helpful. It has been truly helpful just to be able to, okay, all right, we're going to make just one breath at a time. We're going to make it through this. Even just dealing with internet frustrations. First time I did this breathing exercise at home in this room, well, here this happened. This is my I've just been triggered face. I already failed today. I already started typing something out angrily in full Ford rant mode. Frant. But I sat on it. I didn't send it. Today's my first day of the new exercise routine. So I'm going to try to channel that rage into my breathing exercises. So taking a deep breath. Again, pretty good. It's more than just a health thing. It's also a patience thing. It's also a character thing. It's good. I recommend it. Now, the second aspect is balance, which is something I've never really worked on. I've never been very good with my body. I kind of walk like an orangutan. I surf like an orangutan. A friend of mine says that I look like an orangutan with a chicken wing. I do this. I'm not a good dancer. But one of the parts of this building a better me is trying to be more agile and trying to have better control of my body. Balance is where that comes in. You need balance in surfing. When I was in India, the #1 physical activity I did was walking. I would just walk all through the city. We made a whole video about walking Delhi. When I was in India, I met this guy, Mujahid Habib, who we've referenced before on our India Connection show. He's actually competed on Ultimate Beastmaster. I was just blown away by what this dude could do. And it made me think, maybe I might not be into parkour, but I sure could use some of this in my life. I sure could use some of this attention to balance and attention to dynamic movement in my life. I always think starting simple is probably the best way to do something. I've started shot way too high, too early, too often, and end up falling. So instead of being like Icarus, I was like, let me just crawl before I'm trying to walk or run here. So my first step in this, I'm calling it like some modified version of parkour. It's like dance-core or something like that. Again, not a dancer, but I have this feeling like I want to move. So I began walking on this curb, around this little retaining pond in Pier Park, next to the theater. I usually watch movies. And I'd listen to music, and I try to walk faster and faster. I'm trying to like walk without looking down. It's kind of like a tightrope walk, but it's a really wide tightrope. Again, it's a baby step. I'm not standing on the edge of a building or man-on wiring through things or parkouring, but it has helped my balance. Again, a small step, a baby step, but it's towards something that I'd like to do. I'd like to be able to have more control of my torso. I'm a white boy. I have no rhythm outside of the violin. I got rhythm with violin, but outside of the violin, I'm just, I'm a robot without rhythm. We'll say, hey Mike, so are you ready for this?
Ready for this.
All right. 53-degree water. It is beautiful. I mean, we're the only madmen.
Blue skies and everything, man.
It is. So, all right, let's do this. So I developed a new part of the push-up half burpee. So now I do this I go all the way out, face down, and then I pull myself up and kind of do this like a pike or something. What do they call those things? You see gymnasts doing them like on top of a pommel horse. It's like you hold your legs out in front of you. So you go from, full face down to full out, stretched out with your legs in front of you. And then you go back down to the push-up, and then you push yourself up and get your breath of air. So it makes you stay down there longer. Water's so cold, dude. Like Mike comes up from the first time he's doing it, he's like, oh. So you got the resistance training part, and that's the breath part for me. But the bravery part, that's where the water comes in for me. This for me is the stress inoculation. This is the bravery part. It's facing the deep and all the allegorical evil that lurks there. And seriously, it may seem silly, but it's not really, because there is stuff in there that could get you. So the bravery section of the training for me involves that deep water. It involves the stress inoculation of being underwater, feeling like you have to take a breath, but knowing mentally, I can hold my breath 2.5 minutes. This 10-second part of an exercise, I'm going to get through. But when you do 8 of them, by that 8th time, you're starting to freak out. Your body's starting to freak out. Your mind is freaking out even more. And so it really is a game with your mind. It's stress inoculation. I mention this a lot because I think there are a lot of us who've never been in the military, especially creative types. And I think it's something we're missing out on. There's this fantastic post about Marine boot camps by this one blog, War Elephant. And he talks about the reason for, this drill instructor yelling in the face of a cadet sort of situation. Why do all these things, you ask? The answer is disturbingly simple and sadly rational. Yelling at someone, preferably in the most personally offensive manner possible, is the easiest way to get a human being who is unaccustomed to performance under stress to take action while being placed under an extreme and sudden stress environment, combat. It trains them to block out the noise and the fear and the stress and just do what they need to do. Your mind, a lot of times, will become your enemy, and you have to be able to shut it up. You have to be able to say, I know that I'm physically capable of doing this. Again, this is weird to me with just the whole survival instinct for human being. There's a part of us that really has that call of the void, that desire to just jump off and to finish it. And you have to shut that part of your mind out. You have to shut it up. And when you're looking and staring into the void of the deep, you just say, I know that I can hold my breath. When you wipe out as a surfer, you have to shut that thing up. Say, I'm sitting here. I might be down here for 40 seconds. I know I can do it. You have to shut up your mind. The more that you let your mind think, the more that your heart starts racing. And this stress inoculation, I've extended it now to actually dealing with kids in the classroom. I've thought of that as stress inoculation. With dealing with people on the internet. So a year ago, a guy, Gaurav, I don't know if he's still out there. If you're out there, don't feel bad. I hope you come back. I hope you're still around. But he said this, your channel is dying. And that ended my first Building a Better Me videos here. When I read that, I was like, yeah, you're right. And I'm dying on the inside. But it's cool. Stress inoculation. Well, just yesterday, 2 days ago, Utkarsh said, sorry for you, man, but your channel's dying. I love it. I love it. Like, I just can't fathom. I can't fathom going to somebody and saying something like that. You made this Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich for me, but I have to be honest, it's the worst thing I've tasted in my life, and you're really going to fail at everything you do from here on out. So I've taken it as stress inoculation. So I'm laughing about it now. A year ago, I cried about it like a little baby. And this is the thing. You are my drill instructors. You are the ones up in my face yelling that I'm a maggot and a piece of crap. And I apparently need it. I think we need it as human beings sometimes. If you can't withstand slings and arrows of critics, like, are you really going to continue on when real tragedy strikes? Are you really going to be able to stare into the void and say, I'm not giving up? So that's where the bravery comes in. It's not just the water exercise. It's actually just the whole life. Just thinking of life as a stress inoculation, as a boot camp. And I think that's helping me partially. Last week, we did an Indie Connection video, and there was a joke in the course of our live stream in which we got into a debate with a Shah Rukh fan, Shah Rukh Khan, India's #1, in terms of net worth, actor. Just on a whim, I was like, stress inoculation. I'm going to call this, the title of this video, Shah Rukh Sucks. I mean to tell you, it was all I could do not to change the name of the video. I have changed it I said I'm going to wait for a week and then I'll change it. It was totally just a bait. It was totally just not clickbait. It was stress inoculation bait. Like, let me see if I can withstand the hate from Shah Rukh haters. And yeah, I think I withstood it. I think I withstood it without caving in It was a good exercise for me. And for all you SRK support, like, look, I don't hate the guy. I really respect him as an entrepreneur, and I think he's a better actor than me. He's not the best actor of all time. Get over yourselves. Come on now. Is he the richest actor? Yeah, almost. Yeah. But the bet, dude, get over yourselves. Maybe you need some stress inoculation too. So here's to breath, balance, and bravery as we seek to build a better us. So stay strong, stay glorious. If you're having trouble doing that, keep going. If you're having trouble doing that, just hold on until you can. And let's keep building a better us. Thank you.